So again, welcome to the Randy Savagery Show. Introducing my boy OZ. Tell him what's up, bro. Tell him your plugs.
What's good, y'all? You can find me on Instagram at OZ100, and 100 is spelled 1 HUNNIT. Find me on TikTok at 100RX, spelled the same way. We also have the studio here. We have that's Dark Web Studios. That's every single platform. You can find me on Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon, whatever, under OZ100. So,
also check out ZB1. You know what I'm saying? Under ZB1. But so,
ZB1.
Yeah, ZB1. Before we started, though, you told me that you are a fan of Marxist or something. Marxism.
That's
what is
definitely
that?
Not what I said.
What is it that you were saying, bro?
The opposite of that.
Tell
I'm not
me.
a fan. I'm not a fan.
So what do you
It's
mean?
not a sustainable system.
Oh, snap, dude. So let me break it down real quick. In today's landscape, right, there's a lot of talk of socialism, and people from a lot of universities have done a lot of indoctrination into Marxist theory or learning, whatever word you want to use. You can use whatever word, but
Disgusting.
I didn't say that. But yeah, dude. So let's start with, how about you just tell me from what you've learned, what is Marxism?
I mean, Marxism is...
What do you know about it?
Marxism is essentially when the governing body completely controls the population and they try to spread all the wealth around equally.
All right.
So that's essentially what it is.
But all right, so did you know that a part of Marxism would be the capital, the majority of the capital going back to the what's called the laborers, rather than just to like one or two owners? How do you feel about that? Is that bad?
That is bad, because then so what drives innovation is reward. And if you take away the reward, then the people don't take risks and nothing gets made. Like, we wouldn't be a great country if we had been just handing shit out to everybody and spreading it out equally, because why should I try?
Right. Oh. Sorry, guys. This is kind of hot. Got to take that beautiful hat off. Oh, snap. So you're saying that Marxist theory has a negative connotation when it comes to societies or outcomes on societies because it lacks competition?
It lacks a reason to be excellent.
Like when you see your boss doing well and then you start your own business, you go for it so you could be the one doing well.
Exactly. So if you remove that, why should I try? There's literally no reward for me taking a risk or even trying hard, because I'm going to get the same thing back.
Well, the boss, even if the wealth was being distributed more evenly, would still probably make more money than everyone else in the company, right?
He would, but it'd be so much more difficult to get a business. Like, for example, like, all right, so Amazon, it makes these crazy like profits now.
Crazy.
All right, but like at the start, you don't. And that's the thing, like all these businesses would phase out before they can get to the size that they're at now. Like normally when you start a business, your profit margin is going to be the smallest that it's going to be, because
all right,
you can't get in bulk. You have a lot more upfront cost.
Okay.
So if you make it where now I have to give 50% more money back to the workers,
right?
How am I going to be able to sustain my business at the beginning? That's going to cost me negative money.
So I think that
and like a lot of businesses do have profit sharing now.
Some do.
Like I've had jobs where I got profit sharing.
Me too, in construction.
So that's kind of the same idea.
But construction specifically is a Marxist structure. Most construction has unions. It's a pretty acceptable thing. Even if you're not a union guy, there's a union guy standing next to you and walking past you. So that's kind of, to me, a bad example. Because aren't you talking about also a job that was construction that gave you the market share?
Factory work, but the difference is like I'm choosing that. Like you choosing to work there. That's not Marxist. Like I'm choosing.
That is Marxism, though.
No, it's not, because there's not a governing body forcing me to do that. I'm choosing to do that myself.
In the theory of Marxism, it would be the companies that you choose to engage in with. So if you want to go work for Hershey Chocolate in a Marxist society, then once you get there, you have to join the union.
But as the owner of Hershey, I'm not going to open that business up probably.
Well, that's what I was going to explain. I'm glad you said that again, because also people that proponents of Marxist theory, they are only trying to implement this for businesses like Amazon, Tesla, these multi-billion-dollar conglomerates that got most of their seed money from the United States government anyways.
So
let's talk about that. Huh?
Here's this.
Yeah.
So like I'm an American, you know what I'm saying?
And
like
yeah.
As an American, our entire country is based on the idea of freedom.
It's
and
about being
I'm not
free.
for really anything that strips away any sort of freedom, especially because our government has shown time and time again that they are willing to do, like, to seize power and never give it back on things.
God, they love doing that, eh?
The Patriots Act. I mean, like, all of this stuff with COVID.
The COVID stuff.
Oh my God, it was insane. Like the government oversight. Like you don't need to be running people's lives like that. This is supposed to be the land of the free.
Dang, dude. OZ 2024, dude. Vote him in, ladies and gentlemen. Vote him in.
Not old enough.
Vote him in. Oh, how old do you have to be, bro?
Well, to be president, I believe you have to be 35.
Oh my God. Basically,
I mean, that would be so young as a president, though.
Dude, I think it would be wicked if we had a 35, like a young, fresh 35 in there, dude.
Oh, that would be so sick.
Dude, that would be nasty.
But granted, he might destroy the whole world. I don't know.
I don't even think the president has that much pull, buddy. I think it's a smoke and mirrors show.
I think
the CIA runs most of the cash out this bee.
I think the president has enough pull to really fuck some up one time.
And what he meant to say, ladies and gentlemen, was funk owes some esh up.
Oh.
You feel me? That's what he meant. All right, continue. We're almost there, though. We're almost there. Continue.
Continue.
You can swear it up. What we were going to now talk about was the CIA, my friend. You see,
nice
that's
transition.
That's the next transition.
That's a nice transition.
Alphabet company, you know, and from what I've seen, from my research over the years, I would say the CIA is who really runs the United States of America and has ever since the creation of them.
You really think runs?
Yeah, and by runs, I mean stuff like this, right? Like Barry Seal. You heard of him?
Sounds familiar, but elaborate.
Well, back in the 70s and I think early 80s, rest in peace, he was a pilot, right? A naval pilot. And when he got out of the Navy, he was approached by the CIA and they said, hey, we need you to work for us, son. As a patriot, he decided to do it. Very soon, he found out that he was taking cocaine from Guatemala to America and then selling it. And then that money was buying guns for them to run the Contra. So the CIA was literally funneling illegal drugs into America through Arkansas, simultaneously while creating a war or getting them ready to do the Contra War. They're funding them to try to overthrow Cuba. So, to me, like, in the fact that no one was arrested for this, you know? No one was arrested when JFK was shot in the head besides, like, a mentally defected person who was then shot. So, a retard.
Now, so, like, I agree with all of that, but I don't know about how much pull they actually have as far as, like, run this country.
So what do you mean?
I feel like they're just like doing whatever they want. And they're kind of running unimposed, but I don't know that they're necessarily pushing agendas.
It's
right
always for agendas, though. So with that one, right?
Like they always have an agenda, their own agenda. I don't know that it's necessarily reflected in our country's agenda.
But it reflects in how the entire world views our country. And then
That's
also
true. Yes.
Our position of power around the world.
I was meaning internally, though.
Well, it affects that too, because think about it.
So, it has an effect, but I don't know that it controls it or that it's the driving factor.
Well, I'll give you one example. Let's go example by example. Let's break it down. Let's get heady, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get heady in here. All right, so Freeway Ricky Ross, heard of him?
Yeah.
All right. So you may or may not know that he was being supplied majority of his cocaine by the CIA.
Yes, I've heard that.
All right. So that specific amount, that volume of cocaine that translated into crack cocaine and then into LA streets had a direct effect on the entire black community.
Well, yes.
So this is how I say that they control here, they control there, they control everywhere. And I think they have ever since their creation. Like, they'll literally smoke a president. They'll smoke a president, bro, if he won't play ball. So even I think the president...
I don't think that they... I think it depends on the president. Like, I don't think they could have smoked Trump.
Exactly. So I agree with you in the concept that they have to play the game that is in front of them. So nowadays, you could see a live stream of Trump all day. Him golfing, eating sandwiches, like everything is monetized. It's a whole new world, right? But they'll still murder him in the way that they did. They, may or may not. Character assassination and the hijacking of the votes. Like they run whatever the plan is.
But see, I'm not sure that the CIA is doing that.
Yeah. So who are you thinking it might be then? Do you think it's the FBI?
I think there are forces that don't have names that we're aware of.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's definitely the people making decisions that aren't, like, out in the spotlight.
No, I don't know what you mean. What are you trying to say, dude? Why don't you just spit it out your mouth?
That there's very wealthy people that make a lot of decisions.
So you're saying Elon Musk runs it all?
No, not necessarily. He's out in the open, rich people. There's many rich people that, like, we don't know how much they're worth.
There's many of them. And there's ones that, like, if you go off of, like, their not even their paper wealth, but their net worth, like, the royal family of London, they're not extremely wealthy anymore if you really break down their net worth, but they actually are. And it comes down to what they have stakes in other countries. Like, if you have 80% of the banks being London-owned in Sweden and in Switzerland, and then the majority of illegal wealth runs through those two countries. You know what I mean? Like,
a lot of extra money.
Yeah, so is that, I'm just saying, like, I agree with you. There's people that on the book, it doesn't look like much, but they own everything. And then just because someone else also owns it, well, it's on their books. And I could kind of see that. But you don't have any evidence to throw at me with my CIA thing. And I would love for you to be like,
I'm not
here's
disagreeing.
why.
I'm not disagreeing with you, though.
Right.
See, I haven't been disagreeing with you.
Right.
I'm just saying that I think there's other players that may have the same amount of control, if not more.
So also, you said that there was no examples of Marxist, or we could even use the word socialist, societies that are thriving or at least surviving.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't say that.
Oh, all right. We'll roll the tape back, but I think you did, ladies and gentlemen. As the right-wing, outright, leftist-hating... No, I'm kidding. Rattlesnake. But,
just the far left.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say is you act like there ain't many examples, but there's a lot of good examples of good societies that are socialist.
Socialist, yes. Marxist?
I just said Marxist theory.
I'm just saying, like, there's a difference because, like a lot of European countries have a blend between capitalism and socialism. Like, a blend is not the same thing as being all the way socialist.
There's no all socialist society on the planet.
No, I'm saying, but well, yeah, because it wouldn't work, obviously.
It would, obviously. There needs to be in trade of some type.
Yes, so like I'm saying, capitalism's like part of the trade-off. Like, it has to exist in a way that works.
I just think that America could use some more socialism. And Marxist theory
I disagree.
has some good points.
I disagree. I think we're just doing it wrong. I think we have plenty of it, but it's all done incorrectly.
All right, well, candidate
You know what I'm saying?
OZ,
Like,
how would you
obviously-
do it?
I don't know. I'd have to think on that way more if to have an actual plan.
No. If you had to make like a make-believe plan, because this is a podcast and we're supposed to talk, just kind of fabricate a bit. And I'll put a disclaimer. There's a fabrication disclaimer.
I don't know where to go with it because I don't know what my funds are, and I don't know. like what it's going to cost.
All right.
Like, I have such little information.
Let me throw some things on you that I think are great socialist inactions. In LA, they're creating tiny homes for the homeless. I think that in Michigan, where we have these brick buildings that will stand for 500 years that are abandoned, should be turned into tiny home type homes for our homeless. And it should be on our tax dollar.
I like it, except for there has to be a long-term plan. We're not just giving this away.
Okay, see, I agree with you. Remember how I said this off camera? The whole thing has to be a tier system of getting out of the tiny home.
Then I like that. Like, yeah, we should repurpose things. That's something that that's good that you could use your tax dollars for. But
socialism, baby.
But it has to be done correctly.
I didn't say I wanted it to be done incorrectly.
But that's how it always ends up whenever we create programs.
I don't agree with that at all.
I think
there's always abusers. Is that what you're trying to say? Of course.
Well, yeah, and there's always going to be a certain amount of it,
no matter what you're doing, right?
But like,
if you're in prison,
let's look at the PPP loan. You know what I'm saying, that they were doing during COVID. Like, I'm pretty sure like 80% of it was fraudulent.
Wrong.
How much was?
I don't know, bro. Will you look it up, dude? Will you Jamie it? You can just look at, or you use your phone or the tablet, right there, buddy. That's right, dude. We got a tablet. We're not going to talk about what brand it is because they are not sponsoring the show.
Nope.
All right. They don't get no shout outs. By the way, you can swear now, dude. So if you want to fucking drop a bomb or something like that, you know what I mean?
I might pull it out later. We'll see. Right. We'll see. Right. Maybe a whole tangent of them. I have no idea. Let me see.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you guys to remember, if you ever get thirsty and you might be thinking that you need to quench it with something disgusting like a soda that's filled with sugars and nasty things, before you do that, consider drinking a Liquid Death. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Liquid Death is one of our sponsors for this podcast, and it is a quenching, delicious, tasteless water in a can. And I kind of liked it.
I got the info here. So they said 90 billion of the 400 billion, so almost 25%, which is like
so low.
That is not low. 25%,
80%.
Yeah, but that's including unemployment.
We're gonna run that back.
This is including unemployment, not just the. I was talking about the business PPP loans because those were even worse than the unemployment.
Should we pull up the PPs?
Well, that's what I typed in. I just haven't found it yet. But they said it might be as much as 400 billion.
So 400 billion,
and then
ladies and
maybe
gentlemen.
Another potential 80 billion on top of that.
So what are we looking at? 30%? You know what I mean?
No, if it's as high as 400 plus the other 80, then it's more like 50%.
That's
just
still,
underneath.
Like if you would have been in a bet, you would have lost. Is all I'm saying. You're 80%.
But I didn't make
bullshit. I'm just saying that's way high, way high.
But 50%. If you're actually talking about 50% of it's fraudulent,
well, 50% of the people are horrible people.
Well, then you got to vet that out a little better.
Oh, well, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that the PPP loan and all the loan setups were not very right. They weren't very right. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, though, is that there are socialist programs that they're implementing in certain cities, certain states that I could pull if I told you pull certain. If you don't believe me about the numbers, we could pull them up. But I personally believe that they're good programs, like the safe injection sites in New York.
I like those too.
That's a socialist program, OZ.
I'm not entirely against socialism.
That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Boom!
But
that's what he said.
But I am very much but I am quite a bit once you get into an actual capitalist market, because I don't like when you're pushing against innovation, because that's what happens. And that's how you become inferior.
So I think, though, if you give me one moment, I could explain to you a version of more profit sharing with the laborers that would still work. So that's all I'm asking for.
I don't know that necessarily everybody deserves more. You know,
but those who are even better will have more. So why do you? It's still going to work that way. You know that. You know that.
and I just don't like tons of government oversight on things.
But it's not. It's company. If this was in-house from the company.
Like the company's just choosing to?
Yeah, which I don't know if I can remember the exact example, but I watched a whole podcast on
Well,
a
obviously
CEO who
that's
did that.
fine because I want freedom. So if a company wants to do that, that's great.
But what I am saying, though, is that could we push at minimum the concept of these companies thinking about it? That's what I'm saying.
I don't think they
want
have
any federal
I don't
government.
think there's any right for profit sharing if they don't want to give it up. But I do think there should be a minimum wage and it should be higher than it is right now.
See, that's crazy to me. I'm literally the opposite. I think there should literally be no minimum wage.
No,
and I
you
can
don't
hire
earn
you
a
to
piece
shine
of
my
a
shoes.
company just for working there. Like
think you
and
should.
and some and lots of companies do give you that. They give you
do.
stock in it. And that's great if they want to do that, but I don't think you should be forced to because
I don't think
there's
you
no
should be
reason
forced to.
I should have to relinquish a piece of my company to somebody else just because they worked there. Like
And-
you're an employee, you didn't take any risks. You're just coming here and clocking in.
I mean, I don't know. Oh, snap. Now we got mad space, bro. Hours of space, bro.
Hours,
We got outer space, bro.
outer space.
We got outer space. No, we don't have outer space. All right, so back to what I was trying
You
to
don't
say.
even believe in outer space.
That's not necessarily true. Anyways, what we're going to stay on real quick. All I am trying to say is could you admit that it might be an okay idea to, as a culture, maybe push this idea towards these giant companies? That's all I'm saying. Not the government, bro. I'm saying like,
We are already.
all right, so far in every company that you worked for, I mean, we are already, exactly. But every company you've worked for so far, right? Like your labor, right?
Yeah.
All right, like me too. Labor, closest thing I got to was high labor. Because that's all there is when you're building walls. It's crap. Anyways, couldn't it be cool for us just to push as a culture to these companies? Like, hey, these big companies, maybe because you guys make so many billions of dollars, you should consider market sharing with the laborers. You should consider giving massive bonuses to the laborers.
Here's
Because
the
they
thing-
do that in construction.
Here's
like,
the
construction's
thing,
the
though.
perfect
Like,
example.
you're like, it's only a couple of companies here, and like, all right. So like, I think does Jeff Bezos still have like the most stock in Amazon?
Yes,
You right? All right. So like, he's pretty much like the most powerful man in the world right now.
Elon is.
I didn't say riches. I said the most powerful.
Because I think Elon is more powerful owning Twitter. Twitter has a majority
because,
pull
like-
on most of the information that gets moved through the planet.
Bezos could
That's
shut
off numbers.
Amazon down, and that would literally tank our economy.
Oh, I'm not saying that, bro.
That's why I'm saying he's more powerful.
Actually, I don't even agree with that at all. Because there's so many companies, they're nothing compared to him, but they do the exact same thing.
I'm just saying, like,
they're waiting for him
so
to
many
fall.
people are already on it. Like, if it happened suddenly, like at least momentarily, things would be crazy because like Amazon's efficient.
Momentarily, that's it.
Well, I mean, it's
One of the, and then UPS are one of the ones that do try to do it. They'd rise. One would turn into him because a billionaire would put money into one.
Oh, I'm sure something else
sure,
would rise and
bro.
it would fix, but momentarily he could literally shut shit down.
But since we know things like Amazon, such companies like Amazon, they make some of their workers, their laborers, literally pee inside of bags. The arbitrary error that can happen on being 1 minute to 2 minutes late from anything can get you fired. There's no human interaction with getting fired. So you're putting your workers through like psychological dehumanization.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they could be better. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure what
And they make you pee in a bag.
a lot of the things you're saying right now, that doesn't sound legal.
do you need to?
Is it legal? I'm asking.
It's all legal.
Oh.
It's all legal because you sign up for in the bag is it's like a space, like the same kind of bags they use when you do a space mission, so it's hygienically like legal. It's the insanity of what he is allowed to push when it comes to the dehumanization of it all.
I mean, they should just not work there then.
Oh yeah, for sure. But here's what happens, my friend. The more capital capture of the market without regulatory measures put onto these mass conglomerate companies, the more they make the rules and the less businesses there is. Eventually, it's just Amazon and whatever Elon owns, and then they make the rules. This is kind of the concept where I see that, like, capitalism unchecked is basically the same as...
I would rather them making the rules than the current politicians we have, because at least they're bright-minded people.
I don't, though, because their pockets getting lined is always the bottom line factor.
So are
they don't even have an ideology.
So are the politicians.
Every politician I think probably wants to make a dollar. Don't get that wrong, but there's tons of politicians that do not show or exhibit any of the signs that you're talking of corruption with the money.
I like Bernie. Like
Bernie Sanders.
That's what I'm saying. I like Bernie.
But there's tons.
But there's not many like him.
Okay, well maybe you like him ideology-wise, but you're.
No, I don't like him ideology-wise.
Are you talking about the money?
No, I'm just saying, like,
in it for the money.
He's one of the few politicians that I think like is not full of shit.
But the whole concept right here is that you think majority of the politicians are just trying to line their pockets?
Yes.
But I'm saying that it's probably more like 25%. It's probably more like the other thing. Like, all right, bro. Do you remember Donald Trump's vice president? I forget his name.
Yes.
You want to know how much he's... Penn. You know how much he's worth?
What?
$92,000. Because he has not done anything dirty in his whole career. And when he's done... He's gonna get $280,000, and then he's gonna be able to retire, and then he'll get the $10,000 like monthly they get.
But that was like on a weird presidency with Trump.
What I'm saying is I could do that again and again, like Tulsi Gabbard. You wanna know what she's worth? Like I could keep like I'm saying. I think that the media skews it where like they're all dirty rat like.
No, I just think I think to get to the top of almost any career, you have to almost always be dirty.
See, this is what I'm trying to tell you is that in politics, without the market involved so much, the way it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that should be changed.
Well, sure. I'm saying even the way it is right now, because you can't like just take a bribe. You know what I mean? Like there's separation.
100%.
The way that it is right now, you think they're all in there for money. What I'm telling you is the majority of them are in there for their ideology. Whatever that may be. Yeah,
there's a lot of that too.
AOC... super far left, super far right. That I'm saying that's really what's in there more. And that could be scary too. But what I'm telling you is
that's even scarier.
Not as scary as if the
I
guy.
I think that's way scarier because I think people with super strong beliefs have the potential to do far more damage.
There's more damage that has been done to the community from pharmaceutical companies and what they've been allowed to get away with than there has been from even like the experiments that the American government's done on their own people.
Oh, 100%. That the farmers.
I don't agree, brother. I don't agree, brother.
On the socialism thing, this is something that I am on once again for because I'm for some of it.
So he is for some socialism, ladies and gentlemen.
Quite a bit of it, actually. Just not a lot on actual business, but there's certain things I don't think should be business, and that is healthcare.
I know. That's how you feel. Tell them about it. So what do you think? There should be some universal healthcare paid for by everyone's taxes?
Yes. I mean, our taxes could be going to far better things. We just sent $40 billion to Ukraine.
Well, they need it.
No, they don't.
Those Nazis don't need it?
I'm not worried about what's going on over there while we're suffering a possible economic collapse. I don't know where we're getting all this money from.
Where we're getting the money from is fractional reserve banking. I already told you 2 days ago, bro. I'm tired of you saying this BS, bro.
Okay, so yeah, I understand that.
Dude.
Then why can't we pay to fix the stuff here? Why can't we pay to fix the stuff here? They're always like, we don't have any money.
I don't know. When you say fix the stuff here, like for me to provide an adequate healthcare system for, what are we, 36 billion? Or I don't know. 360 million? How many Americans?
I think the last estimate is 330 million.
We didn't even got a bill.
No, not even close.
Ugh.
A third of it.
Anyways, yeah. So to make
that is a lot of people.
What I'm trying to say, it's too many people to make an adequate system. There's going to be no system that's going to adequately. People always point to Canada. Canada of 20 mil? It's a country of 20 million people. That's why that works there. It will never work here. And I'm actually a proponent against it because I'm a little bit biased. My mom has sold insurance my whole life, but I think it's a fair system.
I don't.
I do.
I don't
think it's fair, but you have to be intelligent. You have to
because
be
our
intelligent
prices
as a buyer.
are jacked up compared to everybody else's by a significant.
Our healthcare is better than everyone else's significantly too.
It is. It is. Like it is. But
That's what I'm saying.
I still think it's destroyed because when somebody spends 3 days in the hospital, that's like literally like $100,000 bill. Like 3-4 days in the hospital.
That depends on your insurance.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm saying that's the actual cost getting written out.
So
I'm saying the system's messed up because it doesn't cost that.
Well, man,
So everything's getting drummed up, and the only
everything
people that
costs what we
So
set
the only
prices
people
at.
that are getting destroyed are the people without health insurance.
well, that's the whole thing. They need to allocate that insurance is important in their life, and they need to put $1 away a day and buy some. Just like we buy insurance on our car. Do you think car insurance should be given by the government as well?
I don't think you should be required to have car insurance.
Wow.
I don't think you should be required to. But if
What
you don't have it,
smoke a fam, bro?
if you smoke somebody, then they'd have the ability to sue you. I mean, just like if you didn't have car insurance. I don't think you should be required to have it.
But people
It would-
don't
you
have
would still-
money.
Huh?
Listen, you're driving around, you got your caddy that has no insurance, and you crash into a family of 4. Nobody dies, but their car is wrecked, right?
Yep.
You have no insurance.
Yeah.
You're saying it should be up to the insurance company to now sue you who has no money? You don't have to pay them, and you don't even have the money to pay them anyways.
Sucks.
Your system will fall apart, is what I'm saying.
No,
That's why,
I'm saying you shouldn't be forced to have anything.
bro, if you're driving a car and you crash, boom.
Yes, I heard that.
So what happened? How do you
less
tough
government
noogies?
oversight? I'm just at I mean
Can the people who got their car crashed like extort you, like come to your house every day, and like?
they can legally take you to court.
But you have no money.
Well, then I guess that sucks for them. I mean, that's how it works now,
No, it doesn't.
except for you have insurance.
Exactly.
But I mean, I don't think you should be required to have insurance. I would have insurance. I have full coverage. I think insurance is a good thing. I just don't think you should be forced to have
But you
insurance.
screw the person you crash into. That's the issue with that.
I mean, the person gets screwed either way. It's a bad situation. Bad shit happens.
No, if you both have insurance, then the insurance company sues the insurance company, bro, and it gets paid for.
Well, yeah,
That's why you pay your deductible.
Well, yeah, I understand how that works. That's why you should have it. And if not, they sue you. Whatever.
And by the way, if you guys don't have insurance, make sure you check out raminsurance.com. That's right, raminsurance.com. They sell all types of insurance policies. We're talking life, health, care, and they do financial planning, stock exchange as well. That's raminsurance.com. Anyways, your system, though, has a lot of pitfalls. Everything you keep saying. And the system that's set up, at least right now, I will agree with you, they're overvaluing everything, right?
Yes.
But a price is only set on what is agreed. That's the only thing that makes a price, just from day one.
Yep.
So they inflated it artificially, but at least this system, there's 2 entities that sue each other, and everyone's car gets fixed. Even the
No.
poor person.
No, the
They
poor
get a bunch of money,
person.
though. They get like $3,000. They get enough money to buy another crap car.
No, they don't. Not unless they have full coverage. You don't have to have. Full
If you have
coverage.
PLPD,
I've had PLPD. All it does is mean I can't get sued. That's what PLPD means. You get nothing fixed. Your car's
well,
destroyed.
okay, all right, then I'll take that. So if you have the poor one, then the poor person gets screwed.
Yes, this
You know?
is the problem
All right,
with the
all
system,
right.
with all the systems.
I guess
at
I've
the
never
end
been
of
the
it.
poor person at the end of that.
Yeah.
I've always had full cup.
Yeah, no, see, the poor person is the one that gets screwed in all of the systems, and that's why I don't like the system. No,
Do you think? See, so I feel like I agree with more socialism, but I didn't grow up poor, and you didn't grow up poor either.
no.
But I grew up like in a real nice area.
Well, that's a pretty normal thing they've studied is that people that come up with more money.
Oh,
tend to
they're
leave-
more into
they're-
socialist
because
ideals.
you were given everything growing up.
I was given everything growing up, bro.
So you feel like you're supposed to get it. While it's like people that didn't don't feel that way
But
because they had to
wanna
earn
give
it.
to the poor
and when
people,
you
though. I want to continue like doing well in life, but I want poor people to get free stuff.
In theory, if you're to do that and like spread it evenly in our country, you don't get to live the way that you were living. You're living far more like a poor person than the poor person is living like a rich person.
What about if I do some type of like regulatory capture, like the rest of them?
What are you talking about?
Corner the market, make a good amount of money off something.
I'm saying
Like
in a system,
be an owner of like the free injection site.
I'm saying no. Like what I'm saying is like if you distributed the money equally between everyone, the actual money, like
all the money.
Yeah,
that's not what we want. That's not.
I'm not saying. I'm saying like this is just in the extreme case.
That's not what we want.
But if you were to do that, we would be living more like China than we are living how we are now. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone would come down to a far lower standard of living altogether.
But the middle class in China is living pretty dope now, and they have the largest middle class on earth now.
I mean, China
Ours is getting slivers thin.
I mean, China's getting it in. I like
Getting it in, bro.
they're getting it in. They scare me on their level of productivity and everything. I can't say anything about them, but their culture is so different from ours. Their culture is so different from ours, and I don't think ours can make the type of switch that they have. Like, it just wouldn't work here.
Like, what do you think wouldn't work? Like, the way that they will just eat dogs in the streets like animals? Like savages?
No, I wasn't.
Is that what you're talking about?
Not talking about that. I was talking about essentially their ability to conform to ideals.
We do that bullshit all the time, bro. We're fucking faggots.
We like to fight about it. We like to fight about it.
Wow, we conform, though.
They don't. Well, yeah, to two different sides. There's not two different sides in China. It's conformed to a single entity. I mean, China's like if you
They still fight back.
China's essentially
They still
like,
fight back.
Like I like to look at it like China's
What's the
kind of
Yakuza?
like if you let Jeff Bezos run the country. Like,
And that's hell. And that's what you just said you wanted. You're like, you know what? I trust Jeff Bezos more than the checks and balances that our forefathers set out, boy.
no, that's not what I said. I said I trust him to run the country more than our current politicians. I meant in the same set of standards we already have.
But Jeff Bezos, literally, if he could run this country, would make everything Amazon. You'd work for him. You'd have
Yeah.
to make beats for Amazon. You'd do everything for Amazon.
I know.
And it's not like he'd knock on the door and be like, hey, you have to fucking
And
do
I'll
this.
tell you what, if he did it, we would probably be really successful for at least for a period of time, at least like on paper. You know what I'm saying? The way that China is. Like China is extremely efficient. I see the
they're-
videos. They're
they're
like,
really
oh,
not,
we'll
though.
just put a skyscraper up in 19 days.
And then no one will live in it. And it'll be a ghost city.
No, that's all.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like theirs is all propped up on smoke and mirrors to keep the numbers correct. What I'm trying to say, my friend, is that Switzerland is the only place doing it right.
But they have a giant oil reserve with a state of people the size of Michigan.
And
Like,
where does all the illegal currency get offshore to?
yeah, like they're not.
Tell us, OZ, where does it go? All the
It
offshore
goes
stuff.
all through there because you can move it through there. It's safe to.
That's where it goes.
So
Offshore
they're not a
accounts.
realistic example for the rest of the world.
Now, let me ask you a question. What if we legalize space mining? We allow the boys in blue to go up into space, get on them craters, extract all the minerals and all of the resources from it, leave it hollow, right? And then come back down, and then we increase our planet's wealth.
That would be sick.
Well, that's actually legal now.
That's good. That should be legal. I don't know why it wouldn't be. And
So why can't we get
and-
more socialists then? Why can't poor
We could
people
then. We could
get
then.
more assistance?
We could
and
then.
have actual correct. Like, bro, when you make an EBT card, whoever set that up, you know you're setting it up to be trash, dude. Like our system is the things that we have set up for most poor people, except for the newer things happening, are crap.
I agree.
They're easily abusable.
That was my point, and that's why I don't like a lot of how socialism because I feel like that-
Easily fixable.
maybe.
Nah, bro. Easy.
Maybe. No, I'm not saying they're not like in theory. I'm saying maybe, but is it going to happen?
See, that's the issue. I don't know. This is what I think. This is what I've.
But yeah, if we had way more resources, then yes, then it should be used that way, especially if our government was the one getting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's not going to be our government, bro. You know who's going to be doing it? Elon.
But you know what?
That's why this system is not okay.
For some
It's
reason,
not.
I trust Elon. So.
I don't know why.
Because I feel like he's not driven by money. That just happens to come with it.
But we need the money for the power. He wants every
I'm
bit of
saying,
power.
but like, all right,
He wants every bit of power.
I don't even know that it's power, but I think he wants to be remembered for doing great things. Like it's not even the power, but like everything is just coming with it on his chase to just be the guy that took us to Mars and the guy that did this. He wants his name in the history books.
What
His
I'm
legacy.
saying is that his mission to Mars is going to require all of the power of humanity.
I know, and I bet you
He wants all the money, all the power.
and I think he's gonna do it somehow.
But I'm saying,
And he
it's
might
a
save
hell
our
that I
species.
would not want. Okay, bro.
We don't have to go. What are you
You
talking
don't
about?
know what it works like. You don't know. All right, bro. He puts a brain chip in every human on the planet, and you just have to do it. And every day you wake up like crying because you're a robot machine that's like, I love building the Mars.
Don't get the
station
chip
that
then. You don't gotta get the chip.
Bro, you know how it works in America. You know how they do us here, bro. It's not about what you want, bro. They're gonna make you're gonna be like, oh, let me get a movie from Amazon. No chip. Oh, I need the chip. Oh, I need a chip for what your vape. And you know they're gonna chip at everything. If you don't have the chip, then they make so you can't get the things you love, and you go, fuck it, I need a chip. You know that's what
I
we
get
do
the
here.
chip. I get the chip.
See what I'm
Whatever.
saying, bro.
I trust him. He's gonna save us.
See, this is why I at least like our way right
He's
now.
the only billionaire that felt that way.
Our system right now is so easily corruptible that it's super visible.
But I believe every system's easily corruptible because people are easily corruptible. And
See, and that's the whole thing that I proponent that we should work towards, and how we're actually going to wrap up this episode is: have you ever considered putting all of government on the blockchain?
what do you mean?
All right, so I was reading through this paper, and it was some student's thesis about taking government and running government on like a public blockchain, right? So picture it like, you know, the laws and regulations that we have right now. Let's just say we all came to a rough agreed upon thing that we thought they were better. Like drugs were legal, prostitution's legal,
For all that.
less war in other countries.
Yep, good with that,
Let's
too.
say we can, instead of being able to give 40 billion, we can only give half. Like, I don't know, we got to make a you know what I'm saying? Like, do you hear what I'm saying?
You think for Ukraine?
Sure, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, I'm saying like we are coming in the middle as a country, okay? Picture we did that.
Okay.
And then picture that their AI computer ran it into a very small, like PDF that we could all read easily. All right. And then that is put on the blockchain. And then let's make it so at the end of it, because it's a smart contract, we renegotiate 4 years. Does that sound free? All right. That is the concept in this, like, because I don't remember all the numbers that she
So
said.
what I'm really getting at is how much power does the blockchain have on your everyday life?
Well,
Because
see, that's kind of where
if
it
we're talking
depends.
because
Technology-wise,
we're
or the
talking
way it
about
works
like
right
how,
now?
how China runs it, like that shit's scary. That's too much power.
See, but we all agreed, if it was America, we agreed that these are the laws that...
who's running this though? You said it's an AI.
No. No one runs it. A blockchain is just a ledger. Picture a digital ledger.
All right, so like the rules or whatever.
Yes. So it's the rules that we all agreed to live by.
So, but can the blockchain be hacked?
No.
It's impossible.
Yes. And do you want? I can actually explain why real quick. People at home might want to know too. So the reason why that technology is even valuable is because what it's doing is that it's making a certain set of code. So picture where it's like a certain set of code written out, like on Word. Picture Word. So 55695 asterisk asterisk 254, right? Picture it. When you do the transaction, or like when you steal a candy bar, let's make that one of the infractions, right?
Okay.
Instantly, it would send that specific mechanism to create a random piece of code that is now permanently in the ledger. And then the next piece of code after that, right? Like, let's say what has to happen. Your charge, whatever, I don't know. The virtual police are coming, whatever. Like, that part is also a random generation of code that's only based off of the one before it. So even if someone did hack it, it would show mass differences from any point in the blockchain where they changed it.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Did I do a
Yeah,
good
I
job?
mean, so that sounds like a pretty good idea, except for I'm wondering how we're going to come up with it every 4 years. Like, the amount of stuff that's done.
The amount of changes.
The amount, yeah, I mean, like,
Well, what do we do right now? What are you talking about? Same thing we do right now.
Well, I mean, how we do it now, but we have people elected for that.
So we wouldn't have people anymore. I think. All right.
I'm wondering who's controlling the ideology, like how it's getting in there. Like, are we voting on it or something? Because I don't. We're
voting on it.
I don't think that the average person would be able to have a good enough understanding to actually be voting on most of the stuff you'd be voting on.
Yeah. So the AI would spit out to us the most easily understandable. But
what about the complex stuff? Because that's the problem that we have with our government now is like, I feel like they make bad decisions on the complex stuff.
Yeah, I think that I know that AI computers can backwork complex ideas into simple forms. So I would assume that that's how that would be done. We would spit rudimentary information, right, into the phone. And that's what their systems can do. It literally extrapolates on it.
I'll tell you what, that sounds great to me, but if you have a computer generating it, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to be happy with the decisions that it'll end up making.
But then you'd vote no.
Oh.
On that day. Like, that's what I'm saying. There'd be like a day every 4 years where everyone's got to do 100 voting questions like a game. And we'll make it a game, right? You got your character, you got everything.
That sounds like it would work great.
That's what I'm trying to say, bro.
I feel like you would have way more than... So this is the other problem that I think you run into is all the stuff that happens during the 4 years that our government has to deal with now.
What?
Like who's running that? Like foreign relations, like when all the stuff that goes down.
Like what?
I don't know specifics because I'm not part of it. But
so let me give you an example.
So like, for example, like when North Korea was threatening to bomb us.
Yeah. Is that where you want me to give you the example?
Sure, or you can give me a different one. Doesn't matter.
All right, because it's harder for me to understand that one. I could give a better one working with the Saudis because I follow that a lot more clearly. All right, so let me give you an example with the Saudis. When the president of Saudi Arabia murdered a Saudi Arabian journalist who lived in America for 20 years at this point inside of an American embassy, dismembered him, and then took his body out, right? When he did that, I think on the blockchain, we would have some type of, let's say, nonviolent sanctions that happen towards that country that we all could agree would be like, this is showing them that this is not okay.
What about when you need violence, though? Because, like, if you don't have, like, violence at your disposal, at least the thought of it.
All right, let me just finish this one part, though. Because in reality, when this happened, President Trump just swiped it under the table. And then he let his wife's man or whatever just continue relations and to finalize the deals with the Saudis. And, some of us would say that's like horrific.
I don't know enough about it to have an opinion on it. So
what about the fact that he took the liberties to murder someone inside of an American embassy?
That's definitely
street
messed
respect.
up.
How about just like if you're a Marlowe, Stanfield, bro?
So I mean that's savage, but
say you would not allow that though, right? In your house?
No.
Yeah.
No, but that's why I was saying if you put it through a computer, this is where I feel like a lot of people would be unhappy because the computer might have made the same decision because it might be better overall.
That's fine, though. See, this is where I think this is where I think people would be happy. We don't care when our phone tells us what to do. We care when, like, if all of our group decided, we don't like Trump, when the Trump tells us what to do. It's the ideologies that piss us off. If we agreed on a blockchain parameters of rules, I don't think that we would care. I think we'd be like, we agreed. You guys remember the 100 votes.
I actually like this idea, but like I was saying, like during the 4 years though, would have to be people controlling the government because like there's like so much complexity, or you'd have to have some sort of computer doing it for you. But like I don't think you would want to trust that. We've already seen things get real weird with the robots that we've created with the AI.
No, our robots are sick. I don't know what he's talking about. But
I didn't say they weren't cool. I said things get weird.
Things get right. I don't know what you're saying. But what I'm trying to say is, bro, is I don't think we do. I don't think we need the people, and I think the people is the problem. So
how are we interacting with other countries? Because there's daily things that happen.
So I'll show you, right? So let me finish this out, how at least I would have handled it. When he murdered that journalist who is now an American journalist.
But we only vote every 4 years. That's why I'm saying, like...
The blockchain handles these things. It's all in the smart.
But there's things we didn't vote on because they didn't even exist, the situation yet. So, like, nobody's opinion's even on there yet.
Yes, it is. All of these scenarios that we go through, they have terms of parameters that are set by the people behind the closed doors already, bro. That's all right. So, in where was it? Trump drone striked an Israeli general.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this.
I do.
And it was against the Geneva Convention. He made a decision and he murdered this general at airport, right? Also injuring one and killing another civilian. But, greatest ever. This was one of his choices that he was allowed to do. He was allowed to do this here, or he was allowed to do another one. It's not like he just makes a decision. You know what I mean? Like your team walks in and they're like, these are the set parameters that we have for when, like a non-combative country makes a combative move again, blah, 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 or whatever. And you can decide to drone strike under the Geneva Convention won't come after you, but without sanctions, you're not going to
You're saying you're going to vote on it as it happens?
What I'm saying is the way it's set right now is that they have a set parameters. They come up to one guy, and the one guy makes a decision at that moment. On the blockchain, it would already be based off of the data trend that we all expressed on that 100-day of voting.
I don't necessarily trust the data trends yet.
But what I'm
and
saying
I don't
is
trust necessarily the everyday person. I feel like we need to, I don't feel like that's the best way to actually be led. I feel like we need to be led by great people, or at least we need to have an AI that has the profile of a great person, because the average person doesn't make the right decision in those situations because they don't know how to. They're not familiar enough with the situation. That's why, the president has a huge panel of advisors, and those people tend to stay around office because they actually are the people that understand situations.
Well, then I guess there's a fundamental expression of difference when it comes to how I think that country should be run. I think that our forefathers wanted whatever the majority of us felt to be. I'm
saying, all right, previously, we used to back our leaders a lot more. And I feel like we need to get back to that because I think a lot of times people are wrong on the decisions you make because we're too emotional about the situation when it happens. And I feel like you need great leaders to be making those decisions instead of the average people and the people to trust them.
I think that we as a whole have certain feelings on majority situation, right?
I think we make bad decisions with our emotions too quickly, and we need people that don't act that way.
I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, we can have an overall sway on percentage-wise of how we want to deal with, when we were leaving Iraq, right? If we would have had leaving Iraq on the blockchain, right? Which it would have been under the system I'm creating or talking about, because that would be taken from our data. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I think that we as a country could have agreed that we don't want to leave Iraq without minimal damage to the Iraqi army and the people who helped us.
I agree. Well, before it happened, I don't know that I can agree with that because I believe that social media and the news has such a large sway on public opinion. Now, after, hindsight 2020, because it fell apart so quickly, everyone's like, yeah, of course we shouldn't have done that.
I said it in the beginning. I don't agree with you at all. If you know anything about...
Yeah, if you know anything, but the average person doesn't know anything.
That's fine, though. In my system, the average person probably isn't going to vote on voting day. Who cares? The smarter people are going to be attracted to this system, my friend.
I disagree. I believe a lot of dumb people are attracted to voting because it makes them feel powerful. I feel like,
mine is like a questionnaire, though. This is like a questionnaire.
100%, but
it would ask what sounds based. It'd be like, when it comes to war, do you care about how many people die? Stuff like that.
Would you rather the average person making a decision or a very intelligent person making a decision?
I want us just to whatever the majority is. Listen, man.
I don't trust the majority. I don't trust the majority to make.
I understand that. That's a fundamental. That's
but
what
I trust. I trust the majority to pick someone that they trust. That's what we used to do. You used to pick in a very a person that you think can make the right decision.
But it's almost been a downfall, time after time.
The downfall has been that so much money got involved, and that it got so not about the actual issues and about dollars.
I mean, because it's gone so
Like
bad with
even
humans.
if it's not about the candidates being like all about the money, the system set up all around money. So like, and the fact that like you have to campaign like all the time trying to stay reelected.
But with my system, you don't, because there's only a blockchain.
Yeah, I know I like it, but I think there's giant holes still because there's like daily issues that have to be dealt with.
Hit them with your plugs again, baby, because that's the end of the Randy Savagery show. Let's let them know where they can find you, dog.
All right, you can find me. You can find Dark Web Studios. It's Dark Web Studios on every platform. You can find me on Spotify, OZ100. That's OZ1HUNNIT. You can find me on Facebook with that too, or at Ink by Oz and TikTok.
Peace, bitch.